Today on Public Eye News, DTE Energy is under fire as 50,000 are still without power in southeast Michigan. And over 800,000 Nissan SUVs are facing a recall. Trevor Forsyth will have a look at how the weather will be treating us this weekend, and Colin Metzger will have your look into the sports world as well. Hello, I'm Susanna Gwynn, and you're watching Public Eye News. Starting off on this snowy Wednesday, back-to-back ice storms have triggered widespread power outages in lower Michigan. DTE Energy, based in Detroit, reported early Wednesday morning that more than 15,000 of its customers were still without service, down from an original 600,000 customers who lost power from last Wednesday's ice storms. A representative from DTE Energy estimates that the outages caused by last week's storm are the worst in nearly 50 years. Richard Rood, a professor with the University of Michigan Climate Science Department, says that the freezing rain Michiganders have seen recently can cause massive tree falls, and the ice that forms on the power lines can cause them to snap in an instant. And continuing in downstate Michigan, in Detroit, Nissan is recalling more than 800,000 small SUVs in Canada and the U.S. because of a problem with the key that can cause the ignition to shut off while the vehicle is in motion. The recall is centering around Rogues from 2014 through 2020 model years, as well as Rogue Sports models from 2017 through 2022. Thankfully, Nissan says that it is not aware of any injuries or crashes related to the condition. Car owners will be notified in March with a letter telling them to not attach anything else to the keyring, as Nissan has not yet come up with the solution to the problem just yet. And they say that the legend lives on from the Chippewa on down to the big lake they call Gitchagumi. And past there, the Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary Office announced today that a major discovery in Alpena, Michigan has been made. A 120-year-old shipwreck, the wreckage of the old Irontron, a 190-foot cargo vessel, was discovered in Lake Huron back in 2019, but was kept under wraps to prevent divers from disturbing the wreck. The vessel sank over 120 years ago in 1894 after colliding with a grain hauling vessel, which was also lost, leading to the death of 6 out of 8 crewmen on board. Now a team of technicians, archaeologists, and historians have been working to document the ship and its final resting place, and are planning to soon reveal the location once their work is complete. There's even a talk to include a mooring buoy being placed at the ship's location, so divers can come to the wreck, and as soon as federal state permits are secured. If you want to see the footage taken of the vessel's wreck, visit the Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary website. And CBS News has more on the residents affected by the loss of power in Detroit. Take a look.
Several customers I spoke with characterized the credit amount as insulting, especially when they can't get a clear answer as to when the power will come back on.
They had crews all over the neighborhood, but yet there were none in this immediate area. None.
It wasn't until today Wilford Craven saw restoration crews on his block, almost a week after an ice storm swept through, leaving hundreds of thousands of people in the dark.
My children have been sick the whole time, because how do you keep your house comfortable on a generator? I mean, it's not acceptable. It's not okay.
DTE has said they'll give out $35 in credit to those without power for more than 4 days by using its meter system to figure out who's eligible. Several customers told us that amount is outrageously low.
What's $35 gonna do? I lost $200 in food. What's that gonna do for me?
It doesn't even come close to covering the almost $1,200 Carolyn Bryant spent on a generator so she could salvage some of the food in the freezer and keep her family of 8 warm.
They need to do better by their customers. They want to charge us top dollar for DTE. They need to start putting, new stuff in here.
That feeling is mutual at We the People Michigan.
So the way that we see this past week is this is a failure of a monopoly, investor-owned utility entirely failing its customers, not having a grid that's up to date.
The group, similar to some lawmakers, would like to see customers affected by the outages get reimbursed by the hour.
So for the longer time that folk are out of power, they're receiving, more money, more compensation directly to them as customers that they can use for replacing groceries or, reimbursing themselves for hotel costs.
In the meantime, frustrations are reaching a fever pitch.
I don't know what to do no more. This is ridiculous.
We did reach out to DTE again, asking if they plan to raise that credit amount or if there is any other way to reimburse customers. In a statement, DTE says that $35 is more than they would usually offer, and it may take up to 3 months for that credit to show up on your bill. Reporting in Southwest Detroit, Anders Gutierrez, CBS News, Detroit.
Now don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with your weather and international news after this quick break.
Next time on Opportunity Knocks.
Welcome back, families and coaches. We have time set up with each of you so you can spill the tea.
What was going on with your house?
You were done living in that house.
What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, I want to know.
Right.
And if you ever need a musician for hire,
I remember you starting up. You were looking like, I don't know about this process.
She looked scared last time I saw her.
Okay, I was scared.
She looks happy today.
This afternoon at 5:30.
Hi, I'm Trevor Forsyth with your weather. Taking a look around our beautiful campus, it's snowing pretty heavily with some clouds up in the sky. Taking a look around the rest of the UP, up in Houghton, it's snowing at 23 degrees. Over in Ironwood, we have some clouds at 25 degrees. Down in Ironwood, some more snow at 34 degrees. Menominee at 36 and Escanaba at 37, both snowing. Manistee, it looks like we have some clouds at 36 degrees. In Sault Ste. Marie, it's also 36 degrees with some snow. And back in beautiful Marquette, it's 29 degrees and snowing, with winds coming out of the northeast at 6 miles an hour. Our pressure at 29.82 inches and rising. Tonight, we can expect some more snow with a low of 21, winds out of the north at 15 miles an hour. Tomorrow, we'll get some clouds with a high of 27 degrees, a low of 18, and winds out of the north at 5 miles an hour. Looking ahead at Friday, a high of 37 degrees, a low of 25, and some sun. Saturday, 35 degrees, some clouds, and a 25-degree low. Sunday, a high of 36, partially cloudy, and a low of 27 degrees. Back to you, Susanna.
Thank you so much, Trevor, for that weather update. Now with your international news. In Israel, police forces are clashing with demonstrators, protesting recent judicial changes by Prime Minister Netanyahu. The protesters have faced stun grenades and tear gas as they block highways leading into Tel Aviv and Jerusalem, and outside the Congressional Knesset building. The police's violent response came as thousands across the country launched a National Disruption Day against the government's plan to overhaul Israel's judicial system. Since Netanyahu's government took office some 2 months ago, tens of thousands of people have taken to the streets to protest the changes his administration is implementing. Most recently, a judicial overhaul program. Netanyahu's cabinet says that the changes are meant to reduce the influence of unelected judges. But criticisms call Netanyahu to have a clear conflict with interest in targeting judges, since he stands on trial for corruption charges himself. For now, his government is moving ahead with the legal changes, giving Netanyahu's allies the power to appoint the country's judges and other bills that would weaken the Supreme Court's authority. 39 protesters were arrested in Tel Aviv for disrupting the peace, while 11 more protesters were hospitalized with various injuries, according to the Tel Aviv Sowarsky Medical Center. And traveling across the ocean to Greece, rescuers are searching for survivors Wednesday amidst the burned out and mangled wreckage of 2 trains that slammed into each other in northern Greece. The crash has killed more than 40 people and has also become the country's deadliest crash on record. Survivors say that the impact hit just before midnight on Tuesday and threw passengers up into the ceiling and out of the windows. The train crash was originally en route from Athens to Thessaloniki, carrying more than 350 passengers, mainly students returning from a Rosh's Carnival celebration. Grecian authorities have pledged a full and transparent investigation into what they say is, quote, a tragic human error. And a House hearing looking into fentanyl crises in the U.S. came with some emotional testimony from people who have lost loved ones to the drug. But in this sharply divided Congress, the potential solutions to the problem fell along political lines. Nicole D'Antonio has more details from Capitol Hill.
Congressional members listened intently as Erin Rockwell described the pain of losing her 19-year-old son Logan to a drug overdose.
Losing Logan was like a bomb going off in the middle of our family that we had built our life around. This explosion killed our son, and he killed Caden's brother. This bomb, this weapon is called fentanyl.
Fentanyl has become the leading cause of death for Americans ages 18 to 45, according to the CDC. And most of the drugs enter the U.S. through the southern border.
The cartels in Mexico have evolved quickly, from drug cartels to transnational criminals to now terrorists like we've never seen ever. Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Hezbollah, they're not killing this amount of Americans.
While politicians on both sides of the aisle agree there needs to be stronger policies to stem the flow of fentanyl into the U.S., the solutions have become very political. Republicans are using the crisis to say more needs to be done to strengthen the border.
To ignore the smuggling that occurs between our ports of entry is simply irresponsible and dangerous.
While Democrats say immigrants are not the problem.
While it is true that a great deal of fentanyl comes into the United States from Mexico, it is overwhelmingly U.S. citizens, not migrants, who are bringing it in.
But Aaron Rockwell had a message for both sides.
United we stand, divided we fall. United we stand, divided we fall.
Meanwhile, the CDC says more than 100,000 Americans die from opioid overdoses every year. Nicole D'Antonio, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And don't touch that dial. After this quick break, Colin Metzger will have your sports update. Stay tuned.
I am so honored and thrilled to have so many wonderful people on my show tonight.
Miss Yasmin Williams. Miss Sierra Hull.
Miss Emmylou Harris.
Yeah, just don't believe her when she says her love is dead.
Tonight at 9:30 on WNMU TV.
Welcome back. I'm Colin Metzger with your sports. I'm sure no one has forgotten the 2020 helicopter crash that killed NBA star Kobe Bryant and his 13-year-old daughter. Recently, the family of the star agreed to a $28.5 million settlement with Los Angeles County. The lawsuit was over deputies and firefighters sharing gruesome photos of Bryant and his daughter. Deputies and firefighters, upon arriving at the scene, took photos of the wreckage and bodies. Los Angeles County claimed that the photos were necessary for assessing the situation. The photos spread, and soon after, the members of the county, sheriff's department, and fire department, as well as a few spouses and bartenders, saw the photos. As of Tuesday, the agreement reached resolves any future claims that Bryant's remaining daughters may make, as well as issues pending in state court and other costs. And college athletes may soon see a change to how they monetize their fame. The new NCAA president, Charlie Baker, the former governor of Massachusetts, was hired in December and officially starts today. His primary focus in his early days will be to address the current state of the student athletes monetizing themselves. Baker wants to look at current rules and make them more visible and transparent so that families and athletes can better understand the process. The NCAA enacted an interim policy, but it lacked detail, and Baker wants to make changes. Currently, 30 U.S. states have passed name, image, and likeness laws since there has been no movement on a federal bill. The NCAA and its member colleges state they want to give athletes the health, safety protections, and compensations that they deserve. Taking a new approach with Baker leading the charge, student athletes may receive the compensation they deserve by treating the name, image, and likeness regulation as consumer protection. And many colleges and universities across the country have experienced issues with the third-party ticketing system, including Northern Michigan University. The system is not expected to be operational again for at least 5 to 7 days. If you'd like to purchase tickets for the Northern Michigan men's and women's basketball games tonight at 5:30 and 7:30, students could get in with school IDs and tickets at the box office, and tickets are $10 for general admission and $4 for 18 and under. Tickets for the hockey games this weekend against Bemidji State will be available at 10 a.m. on Thursday, and students will need to pay $5 in accordance with CCHA playoff game requirements. NMU ticket office hours at the Barry Event Center are 10 a.m., 5 p.m. Wednesday and Thursday. And that's all for sports.
Thank you so much for that update, Colin. That's all we have today for you on Public Eye News.
The preceding program.
I'm Susanna Gwynn. All right, and in other news,